Okay, so it's 4:23 p.m. I just got off the bus like some minutes ago. And so I found out more bullcrap surrounding this whole self-confined thing that I wasn't supposed to be placed in. And everybody knew that since day one. I mean, I still guess I can apply them since I'm so used to stuff going the complete wrong way to where I have to accept the bare minimum. So I guess I can applaud them for at least admitting the fact that I'm obviously not supposed to be in there. Because a lot of times when I get thrown in situations like this, the people running the whole shebang won't actually admit that it's obvious I shouldn't be there. Dang, that's got you're like, that's for calling on me within the first seconds of me sitting down. So, dang, what is this? Is this an inchworm? Like the first seconds of me even sitting down. That's crazy. What is this? It looks like an egg in my shoe. I guess I should just stand up. Hopefully I'll do this fast enough because obviously it's about the rain. I try not to sit anywhere where it's possible for me to be seen. Like by just walking up, which is why I don't sit on the swings. Because other than that I would, because I don't want to sit right there anyway, but I'll just stand over there. Because standing in the grass obviously won't make it worse. I mean, obviously will make it worse, and it won't make it better. That's what I meant to say. Anyhow, not even the point. So, anyway, I guess I can applaud them because, like I was trying to say, when I get thrown into these situations with people running the whole, whoa, wait a minute, what is that? I didn't even see that. And that's huge, too. Yeah, I need to go. I need to go quick. Everywhere you turn. Okay, so I'm just surprised that they at least admitted that I obviously don't belong there. Because what I keep trying to say is every single time stuff like this happens, the people in charge, or at least not in charge, but that are a part of the whatever placement it is and they're working there, will never admit that I obviously don't belong there. Because they're usually systems that completely depend off of gaslighting. My voice is probably cracking, but they mostly depend off of gaslighting people and convincing them that the opposite of the truth. So like telling people that they obviously should be there, and even though it's obvious that they shouldn't. Because I know when the alternative school thing happened, after the whole I want to stab my classmates lie, once that happened, I was already on the pills before then because I had already started getting locked up before that even happened, because I was in 7th grade and that was the first or second week of school. So the pills did make me act pretty stupid, but I don't remember much. I just know that they made me go along with crap, agree to stuff that obviously wasn't true. So it's like, really, that whole pill thing messed me up. And the thing is, those pills cause violence and mania and psychosis. So it's like, of course, in that situation, it was kind of easy for for me to be placed places that I obviously shouldn't be at. But then because I act so stupid because of the pills, I just went along with a lot of dumb stuff and just agreed to stuff that should have obviously been lies, and I should have known that. So I guess because of that, it made me more susceptible, or whatever the word is, for those type of things. And of course, regardless of whether I would have been on those drugs or not, at certain places, they just don't want to admit that somebody obviously shouldn't be there. So that's what I've been trying to say. I'm just at least glad that the pod staff or the sped staff and the self-confined thing, because we're not even in the pod. Well, the mods, that's actually what it was called. The trailers were called the modules, but I accidentally called them pods. We're not in there anymore since we're in the new building. So they don't have trailers, and we're in the building, and we're like literally the first classroom as soon as you walk through the door. So we can't, unless we walk through another door, so they can't just miss us. Also, their windows are right there, so they can see us if we try to walk past, depending on which direction we're going in. So yeah, anywho, I gotta hurry up, apparently. So today, I'm gonna make a long story short, hopefully. Today what happened was, I seen her a couple of times, but I thought she had noticed me but I was kind of nervous to say anything because, like, my social anxiety that I recently developed in, like, 2020 has been getting worse. So, although in 2020 I was isolated so much, I didn't know I had it yet. So I didn't actually know I had social anxiety till I finally got to be in school again once I came down here. August 3rd, 2021. Not that that's the day I came down here, because I moved back here April 8th, 2021, but that's the day school started. And that was my first time being in school in really I don't even know how long, which is why I kind of knew that something like this whole sped thing was going to happen, but that's a long story. Plus, I already had videos about that. So, that's when I realized I had social anxiety, and it's getting worse. So, anyway, I was nervous about talking to her. I'm going to say Miss W. And I know that I already said that she used to work at MTZ High, which I have a whole playlist about the whole situation because that has something to do with me getting put in this self-confined sped placement. But I'm not talking about the Miss W that helped the principal bogart me or board me in his office. What's the good word? Block me in his office. There we go. I'm not talking about her, the one that was constantly harassing me after my mom told them whatever in the world she told them about me that had them all acting frantic, yet they were talking to me like I was slow. And I'm not talking about the Miss W that was the assistant principal. I honestly don't know what she was, but I'm not talking about her. So I'm talking about another Miss W. Because I try not to say names. I really do my best to not say names. And so, anywho, she was in my Spanish class, and then there were some other classes that she was in. Because, like, if there's a lot of kids in a class with IEP, because like I said, a lot of people around here have been sexually abused. A lot of people have mental problems from that. And so, yeah. I mean, of course, they have it from other stuff, too. But, like, I would say that's the main problem that I've been seeing, at least. So, if there's a whole bunch of people with IEP in a certain class, for that class period, there will be an IEP staff member in there. Now, IEP is for individual education plan. Anyway, that's what Miss W was. She was IEP staff member at MTZ High. And because a lot of people are doing services for the county as a whole and aren't assigned to certain schools, they switch from schools to school. Kind of like with the internship stuff that people do when they're in college and they go work at a certain place for whatever college points or whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called. That's probably sad, but I don't. So I had seen her, and she asked me if she asked me about me going there and my classes and what classes I take, and I basically told her that because of Mount Zion and a whole bunch of stuff with them, I almost fell. I got put in this special ed self-confined punishment thing, and I've actually been in there since 2/17/22 because I mean, she probably had been noticed that I wasn't there, but it's obvious that the people that actually would have said something, obviously nobody's actually going to do anything to help me, and I noticed that a long, long time ago, like years ago, but I mean, they tried to keep it a secret from the people that probably would have at least said something, even though they wouldn't have actually done anything to help. So, nobody knows but the staff members that were in the inner circle of Miss W. Yes, the Miss W that was always harassing me. I'm not about to get into who all was in that staff circle or whatever. But it's obvious that they're probably the only ones that actually know what happened to me. Dang, what was this that was in my shoe? I was getting bit by something. Anyway, hold up. Okay, what happened? So I seen her. Okay, yeah, so this is at breakfast. And so she was like, after I told her about the sped thing I replaced, and she was like, wait a minute, hold up. You're way too smart for that. And you don't need to be in there, obviously. And you are too smart to be sitting in one class all day in that placement. And then, what else did she say? And she was like, yeah, I told her about the counselor thing that I talked about in another video. And she was like, yeah, they need to hurry up and do whatever they got to do so they can go ahead and get you out of there because you don't need to be in there. And she had a confused look on her face, too. And so the counselor thing that I talked about in other videos not counselor thing, the school psychologist thing that I talked about and the counselor thing because, yeah, the school system therapist or whatever, which I also have something else to say about her further on in this video if it doesn't start raining. So basically, what happened with the psychologist, which was found out like the first or second day of us being he doesn't work there anymore. So basically there was this thing where he kept rescheduling all throughout the summer, and then different stuff happened in the last few weeks of school where I didn't get to see him for different reasons. Like me not being there because we went back to Winston for the hunt for Mama. Then I got suspended, I think for 2 days after that weed fell in my pocket. But then I ended up not coming back for the last 2 weeks of school because even though apparently I was only suspended for 2 or 3 days, the sped staff told me not to come back for the last 2 weeks. And I think they did that because they knew nobody else was coming except this one kid sometimes. So they were trying to just have less people. Because the thing is, if everybody's in the classroom, there has to be 3 staff members in there at all times. So I think maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know, but they told me not to come back, so I didn't. And so, anyway, that's why I didn't get to talk to him. And my mom claims that he was supposed to do an evaluation for me to get out of there. First of all, that's complete mess. And I told the pod staff about that because Mr. B said that he didn't even know that he kept rescheduling and that none of the sped staff were expecting for me to come back. Even though I'm pretty sure my mom had that meeting where she talked to them about how she wanted them to keep me. I mean, maybe she changed her mind somewhere along the line, but I definitely know when I was there that happened. And then my older sister Chocolate, because I had a video of it, was telling me to stop eavesdropping. How am I eavesdropping on a meeting I'm supposed to be in anyway? And then she was like, if you weren't acting out of pocket, you wouldn't even be in here anyway. And that's the thing I keep talking about. They create these crazy situations that I obviously don't belong in, and they try to blame me for it and make me think that I somehow got in there. I got in a self-confined placement because I was always crying or either asleep. That doesn't even sound right or make sense. But I already have videos about what led up to me getting put there. Originally, I was saying that Mount Zion had lied to everybody about what it actually was, and basically they got mad at my mom because she kept reporting them for crazy stuff like not wanting to put me in special ed. So they were just like, so they put me in there. But I also had put in the fact that they said they were going to let my mom do whatever she wanted. And so, really, it had something to do with her. She claimed she was lied to just like I was, but the real truth of the situation was that she thought this was about to be a special school for autism. I was lied to and told I was just switching schools, which I had been asking for. But the thing was, I was switching schools because of some drama my mom created, which means if I would have got to actually switch schools, the same thing would have just happened again, which I thought was going to happen. Because on my first day, I didn't know that that's what was going on, but my mom's boyfriend had drove me, and I actually have a video of it. He started cursing out the staff members, and I was like, no, I hope they're not about to do this all over again and have me kicked out of here. And that was before I actually knew that I was in a self-confined thing. So, yeah, he kept rescheduling. They claimed that he had to do an evaluation on me and stuff for me to get out of there. Even though that's not how that works. You're only supposed to be in there 4 to 8 weeks. Well, and then they said 9. Now they're saying no. They said 4 to 8 weeks. Wait a minute, no. Okay, so when I was first in there, after the first 2 weeks of me being in there, and I actually realized what was going on, and then eventually somebody from Reddit sent me some articles about Georgia's racist special ed system, which is when I realized what was going on more. Now I'm realizing that I still don't actually know what's going on because I find out more every day about what I was lied to about from the staff members. But anyway, later on down the line, after I started to realize what was happening, they said you're only supposed to be in there for 2 weeks. Then they said you're only supposed to be in there for 4 weeks. Then they said 4 to 8 weeks. Now they're saying you're only supposed to be in there for 8 or 9 weeks. Because it's not for academic, so it's not something you're supposed to stay in. So I'm not even supposed to still be in here, because the thing is, everybody that was there when I went there, they're not in there anymore. They all got exited. And of course, anybody that's 18 isn't going to come back anyway. So everybody that was in there when I was there, they're no longer in there. Obviously, because that's really illegal anyway. And so I already have videos, like the video I made the other day, where they told me I can't get in the car with my mom because the sped staff aren't there. Something like that. So, yeah, when that happened, I also talked about other stuff that happened that day. And I found out from all the kids that have accidentally been getting placed there because their schedule mix-ups and their counselors accidentally did their schedule wrong, somehow placed them in the self-confined. They had to let them out, and they were talking to the staff member because the staff member had came in the room, and he started a conversation about how teachers wanted to throw random kids in the self-confined, and then the sped staff were like, they can't do that, this is a self-confined. If somebody who's not supposed to be here stays in here for only 1 day, that's illegal. So then why have I been in there since the end of the last like 5 months of last school year, when it was known since the day one that I'm not even supposed to be there, and they're still saying that I shouldn't be there, yet I'm still there. How illegal is that then? And they're talking about a psychologist. A psychologist isn't needed for somebody to change my schedule. And so this goes into what I was about to say. After I say this one thing about the school system counselor, which is Ms. Parks, the one that lied to me, and I actually had a video I made that day after I came home from Rosine, a whole bunch of stuff had went down, and she was like, you're not going to be in a special class, you're not going to some special school, you're going to be in a regular school and a regular class. There might be a little less kids in there. And I asked your mom to let me put you there. I told her about it because you'll be closer to me and I work there. And then whole time, she only even comes there every 2 weeks at the end of the week. And apparently when we went back to Winston-Salem, North Carolina for the hunt for Mama in May, because we went back on May 5th, or at least we got there on May 5th, I'll say that. When we went back there, apparently she stopped working there then. I just thought that she wasn't coming that much because she never really did come. But I found out she stopped working there because Pasta told my mom about that when she got into an argument with them about how I didn't have a bus and she didn't want to come pick me up, and she didn't even have the car or something, or she was asleep or whatever in the world. And so they had told her that Miss Parks doesn't even work there anymore. And she stopped working there last May. Now mom was like, but yet she led me on a whole conversation when I told her that the psychologist hadn't seen you yet, and he keeps rescheduling. And she had told me that she was going to talk to them about it. And the whole time she doesn't even still work there. And I already have a video where I talk about why she doesn't still work there. I don't remember which one it was, but I already know it's in the playlist of the first days back at the self-confined thing, or whatever it says, special ed, whatever. This is going to be in there too. So, anyway, I know that, for one, all the stuff that she witnessed, and then this sped stuff would try to gaslight her about what was going on, because she'd be like, well, you guys are making them feel some type of way, and then they'll be like, how? We're not doing anything. And then she would be like, you know what, I'm just going to leave it alone, or we can just talk about it later, because I want to keep the peace. That's probably why she stopped working there. And that's the thing. You say that you're moving me here and then lie to me about it, but then claim it's to help me so I'll be closer to you, and because Mount Zion was doing too much, which Mount Zion is MTC High. But I just really try not to say names of anything, but I don't do a good job. But yet you move me somewhere else where I have to go through stuff still. And not only do I have to go through stuff still, I have to sit in a room all day with the people I have to go through stuff with. But yeah, this was to protect me from Mount Zion. First of all, there's just so much I could say about that. And that's exactly why I just need to hurry up and get out of here, because I'm around a whole bunch of flying monkeys. And if you don't know what that is, just look it up on YouTube, because Dr. Raming has videos about it. A whole bunch of enablers, a whole bunch of people that are really just on some mess, and then everybody's lying about everything. And I have to be the person to take the downfall, I don't even think that sounds right, to take the repercussions, whatever in the world, because of everyone else's actions and lies. And so, anyway, now what I'm about to say is, the Miss B wasn't here today, so Mr. B and Miss L were having this talk, and luckily they can't leave the room to talk, not because I want to be in people's conversations, but because, honestly, I get lied to so much about all the stuff that completely involves me, that I actually, hold up, because my throat is dry, and I'm stuttering. I'm kind of anxious right now, but okay, I need to calm down. I think that's what happens though, like the more brain fog I get, and then the more nervous I get or anxious or whatever, that's when I start stuttering more. I don't know, but I do know it's connected to the motor problems that the pills cause. I never had this problem before the pills, but I also know that stressful situations cause brain fog, like putting milk gallons under the table or in the cabinets and stuff. That's a symptom of brain fog and dissociation. And I've been having that stuff a lot, but okay, so back to what I was saying. Trying to gather my thoughts. Hopefully bugs don't start crawling on me again. Okay, so yeah, I'm glad that I'm in this situation where they can't leave the classroom, or at least not all of them at once. because we're in the self-confined, and apparently somebody in there is so dangerous, even though people are in there for literally telling jokes too much. But yeah, so this means I have a chance of being able to hear stuff that specifically involves me, so I can at least know what's going on. So anyway, they were talking about how somebody asked them, why am I still in there? Like, one of the head people asked them, why am I still in there when I was in there last year? And I know that last school year they kept telling me the lie that I'm not allowed to talk to the council, I'm not allowed to talk to anybody in the building at all. This was when we were in the trailers last school before we moved to the new building. And I wasn't allowed to be around, we weren't allowed to be around the quote-unquote normal kids in the building or talk to any of the staff members. And I remember the one time I got in trouble because they found out I was trying to talk to the assistant principal. I thought that they really, well, I mean, they did think I was trying to snitch on them for the stuff that they do. And they kept saying, you think you're going over our head, but this placement is just on their campus. We're not even connected to Merrill High School. We're just on their campus. So the principal and everybody over there has nothing to do with what goes on in here. And you thought you were going over our head. And then when the assistant principal had asked to talk to me, when she seen, somebody told her about my email, she had to call in the walkie for me. And they were like, why does she want to see you, or why do you want to see her? And then they were talking about how they need to take my school laptop because I keep emailing people. And then they were like, and then they told her that I just wanted to talk to her about the fact that I don't belong there, even though that's not what I wanted to talk to her about at all. So now what I realize is that even though they know I'm not supposed to be in there, I was never trying to talk to her about the fact that I don't belong there. But now I'm realizing the reason that they said that is because they don't want anybody that's in charge to know that I don't belong there, because then I'll get taken out. I think that's what's going on, because the more people that are in there, the more, but that doesn't mean the more they get paid though. That's just the more that the placement makes, if anything. So I really don't get how they would really benefit off of keeping me from telling people that I'm not supposed to be in there. But yeah, I think if I was to tell the head people that I'm not supposed to be in there, they would take me out. And I think that's really kind of what's going on here. So the next thing I had to say kind of something to do, not kind of, it does have something to do with that. So along with somebody telling them, well, asking them why am I still in there when I'm supposed to get exited, because I'm not supposed to still be in here the whole next school year anyway. They also were talking about the fact that somebody had had my schedule wrong, and I had been getting marked absent because I was marked to be in regular classes. Like, I think it was a gym teacher they were talking about, but we're not allowed to go to gym. So even last school year when they said Mr. B can't be considered a gym teacher anymore, and they just had to, and he had to tell the gym teacher whatever for him to mark us present, and we couldn't actually go to the gym because everywhere we can only be in the self-confined thing. I mean, we didn't get to go to the gym sometimes, but the sped staff had to come with us. Not all three of them, if anything, at least one of them. But yeah, they had to be with us, and we didn't get to go, like, not on a regular basis like you would for actually going to a class, but it's like we would just stop by and do whatever they were doing, like walking in a mile or whatever. So yeah, last school year when that happened, they said that he couldn't have himself labeled as a gym teacher. He had to get the gym teacher to mark us present and put our grades in, but we didn't get to go to the class. So basically, they were talking about how they were mad that somebody had our schedules mixed up, and they had been told them to fix it because they had me labeled to be in some regular classes. I don't actually know who these teachers are. They were saying their names, but I don't know what they teach. I know one of them was a gym teacher, I think the female gym teacher, but I don't know the rest of them. So you're telling me, wait a minute, no, I didn't even finish the sentence yet. So they were telling them that I'm in the EBD self-confined, that they need to take me off their schedule, and that they also need to mark me present for right now because they had marked me absent, but I wasn't in their class because I'm in the self-confined and I have to stay in the room all day. So basically, it seems like what's going on is that, oh yeah, and I forgot to say, before I say this thing that I keep trying to say, Mr. B was, he was like, it's been ever since the first day of school they've had her under these classes, and they've had her under some regular teachers' names for like the general ed and not the special ed self-confined, because there's only 3 staff members for the special ed self-confined, and they all have to sit in the room with us. So now I can say what I keep trying to say. I feel like, honestly, it really seems like the what's the word, a great example of multiple personalities, because it really feels like I keep interrupting myself and I can't finish a sentence, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but like, anyhow, so Now I can't remember what I was trying to say. Okay, wait. Okay, yeah, so what I was saying is, I feel like what's going on is that they're trying to, even though they know that I'm not supposed to be in there, why won't they just let me stay on the regular class list and go to my regular classes instead of saying, oh, she's in the self-confined EBD, you need to change her schedule because you have her under some general ed classes with regular general ed teachers with English language arts and gym and stuff, but she's in the self-confined. But the thing is, I'm not supposed to be in the self-confined, and you all have admitted since day one, literally the first day you're getting put there, 2/17/22, that I don't belong there. So why not let my schedule stay with the general ed teachers and let me go to my regular classes? And like I've already been saying, as bad as my trauma is and like my hypervigilance and how I get triggered by violence and people fighting, people getting into arguments, even people telling jokes that are offensive makes me start disassociating. So I've been said that as traumatized as I am, I really don't need to be in school, but I don't need to be in a self-confined EBD, whatever in the world this thing is, placement. And it's obvious. I mean, really nobody that's in there needs to be in there, because something I want to make a video about is that where I'm from, they had alternative schools where people were busting glass out of the doors, busting windows, pulling their pants down when they walked past the teacher's desk, although the teacher didn't notice when this boy would do this. People were bringing, like, what was that, crack or something to school? But here in Georgia, black people get put in special ed for joking around too much, or just because some staff member got mad at them, or the school didn't like them, or at least enough staff members didn't like them for this decision to be able to be made. And it's like, the people at the alternative schools where I'm from have real actual problems, even though of course they come from trauma and sexual abuse and stuff, because they always do. But it's like, really, the people that are in